Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a quick method of getting your cameras online through Blue Iris. And before we get started, I just want to kind of talk about how a router works. So a router hands out an IP address to anything that connects to it wirelessly or wired, even your computer with Blue Iris. And Blue Iris uses that same IP address that your computer is using to put the cameras online. So what we're going to want to do is create a static IP for your computer. Because it's using that address to put the cameras online, we don't want the router to hand it out a new IP address. If you were to turn off your computer and turn it back on, we always want that static IP or that IP address to stay static, to not change. So before we get into that, what we want to do is just check our settings, what our computer is currently connected to the router at. So to do that, go down to the search bar, type CMD, click enter, it'll bring up the command prompt. You can do that with Windows 7 and Windows 8 as well. So what we're going to type here is ipconfig, that's ipconfig, and push enter. So that's going to show us our address that our computer is connected to the router at. My computer right now is connected to the router at 192.168.1.161. And all we're really worried about here are the last three digits, so 161. And then we're going to look at the default gateway. We want to make sure that that is at 192.168.1.1. When we configure this to be static, we are going to need to let it know what the gateway is. So we do want to double check that that's what it is right now. So we can go ahead and X out of this. So now to configure the computer to have a static IP, we're going to go down here to the bottom right and click on our internet access. With Windows 10 we can just click on network settings. What we're looking for is change adapter options, and it'll be in a little bit different place with Windows 7 or Windows 8, but that is what you're looking for there, and we can click on that. And that's going to show us our connections. You can see I do have Wi-Fi with this computer, but I've got it wired connection, so we don't want Wi-Fi to be enabled as well. If you have Wi-Fi going as well as a wired connection, then you can cause problems there. So I've disabled my Wi-Fi. If all you have is Wi-Fi, then you'll right click on the Wi-Fi there, but I'm going to click on my Ethernet wired connection, click properties, and you'll click properties on the Wi-Fi connection as well if that's what you have. So then we'll go down to Internet Protocol version 4, we'll click on that, click properties. You can see here that I've already got it set at obtain an IP address automatically. That's what we do not want. We want to click on use the following IP address. So we're going to type in 192.168.1. And you can use anything here. I like to use anything between 10 and 19. And that's going to keep it out of the way of our camera equipment and antennas. So I'm going to use 13 here. Subnet mask will automatically fill in with that, and that's what you want, 255.255.255.0. Default gateway, that is 192.168.1.1, and we know that's what it is because we double checked it through the command prompt with ipconfig. Now we're going to click on the DNS server address down here. I like to use 8.8.8.8 for the preferred and 8.8.4.4 for the alternate. And then we'll click OK and close. And wait a couple seconds here, and looks like we do have internet access. You might want to double check that. You do have internet. You can open up a browser, make sure that you have internet still. And now we're going to open up Blue Iris. We'll click yes, allow this app to make changes. So you can see I have one camera going and it's pointed at the roof of my shop. It doesn't matter for the purposes of this video. We're going to click on this gear options button here on the top left. And first of all, you can name your system whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to put in Delaney here. And then we're going to click on the Users tab here. And this is where we can configure your user account for logging in remotely. We'll click on the one active there and click Edit. And then we can change the username here to be whatever you want and the password to be whatever you want. Just make sure that you write that down. And then we can click OK. You can also add a user here. If you want to give someone else, access, but maybe you don't want them to be able to control the cameras, you can create a username and password here and turn off the PTZ control. You can turn off administrator settings so that they can basically just log in and see things. You can even turn off or turn on when they can view them with this calendar here. I'm going to cancel that. And then we're going to click on the web server tab here. So this is going to come auto-configured as 81 for the port, and I like to change that to 8081, and that is the port that it's going to essentially port forward Blue Iris to the internet, and it's going to do that from your LAN address here, and that's what we changed that to statically to be. You can see mine is now 192.168.1.13, and it's going to be through port 8081. And I've whited out my external access here just so I'm not giving that out, but that's going to be your public IP address that you're going to connect to. But right now we're going to click on Remote Access Wizard. So once that comes up, we're going to click Next. And the first thing that comes up here is to create or update a rule to allow Blue Iris through your firewall. So you're going to want to click on that Create Update Rule. Mine's already been allowed through, but you might want to click on it again anyways, even if you do have the green check mark there. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and click Next. So this page is just checking for basic internet connectivity. Looks good. We'll click Next. Now this page is just checking to see that that port is working. Looks like it is. We've got a green check mark. We'll go ahead and click Next. Now you really don't need to worry about this page for now. We're just going to go ahead and click Next. Now this page is where we are going to actually put Blue Iris online, and we're going to do that through a process called Universal Plug and Play, and it's going to automatically enter those settings into your router. Now if this doesn't work, it could be because you don't have UPnP enabled in your router. You may have to go into your router, and to do that you can go to web browser, type in http://192.168.1.1. That'll bring up a username and password. And you can get in there and turn on UPnP. If you have any questions about that, we will either have another video for that or can help you with that. But for now, hopefully it is enabled, and you can click on this button here. So there you can see I've already got a couple going. I've actually already got this going, but we'll go ahead and click Add Blue Iris. And there you can see it's added Blue Iris through 192.168.1.13 with the port of 8081. That's what we want. We're going to click OK. Then we're going to hit Next. Now this next page is just checking to make sure that everything is working with that port and that it's putting it online. I've got that whited out there, but that's your WAN address. It's verified that the IP address is working. So we're going to go ahead and click Next again. Now this final page is going to give you all the settings that you need to get your app going for remote access. So you'll download the Blue Iris app for $9.99 for your Apple or Android device. And when you open up that app, it's going to ask for this info. And the first thing is going to be your first 5 and your last 5 of your key. I have that whited out here for mine, but it should show you there is a 10-digit code. And then it's going to ask for your LAN address, which is this address here, 192.168.1.13:8081. And it's also going to ask for your WAN address. Now that's your public IP address, which I have whited out, and then :8081. And it'll also ask for your username and password. And that's where we went in earlier and entered that in under User tab. And you can do that differently. You know, if you did create another user for someone else, they can enter in that username and password to give them different privileges. So you might want to write that info down. You can do it to add multiple devices through the app. If that does not work, then you may need to actually log into your router and do port forwarding from there, and we should have another video for that if you need to do that.